Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Cottage. I'm Joey, the Veiled Cottage Witch, and this is another episode of my Celtic Tree Ogham. This is episode 2, and we are talking about the second tree here, and this is Luis Rowan right here. And we can see both of them. This is one I made, and this is one that I bought. This is actually supposed to be carved on an actual rowan tree. I love both of these. And then this one is the Celtic Tree Oracle, and this is Spirit of Nature Oracle. And we've got lovely, grumpy Rowan there. Looks like he's got a mustache. And then a beautiful picture of the berries here that I love. We got the berries here, but you got that mustache just kind of growling at you there. And I love that because this tree is very much known for its protective qualities. So this is the letter L in the Celtic tree alphabet. And in Brayan law, rowan is one of the 7 peasant trees. So Luis can mean flame and herb, as well as swarm or great many. And these trees were an assembly point for warriors. So, I mean, you can just imagine Celtic warriors just kind of gathering under rowan trees. So the name of rowan comes from the Gaelic ruhan, the red one, and also the Norse rune, from which we get the word rune, meaning secret, spell, or charm. The rowan is usually considered a more magical tree than a practical one. So it was very much used for magical purposes throughout history. Now, the folk name of this tree is Lady of the Mountain. And you can see here why it was such a lovely tree that grew way up high and kind of like a shrine to many. Rowan is ruled by the sun, and like the birch, is connected to Lu, the sun god, who slew his grandfather, the evil Baylor. Right here is a depiction of the evil Baylor, the one-eyed evil Baylor, with a spear of rowan through his cursing evil eye. So rowan is very sacred to the Celtic goddess Brigid, again revealing its fiery and solar energies. Now, Brigid is said to have 3 fiery arrows made of rowan, and is always associated with 3s, and her epithets are fiery arrow, as well as the bright one or the exalted one. It is said that a tower of flame shot up to heaven from her head when she was born. And this alludes to her having the gift of divine inspiration, what the poet W.B. Yeats referred to as the fire in the head, or the shining brow of Taliesin. And that's him right here. Now, both Brigid and Rowan's gifts can be seen as channels for divine knowledge and energy, magical and spiritual insight, prophecy and vision, and the fiery, passionate energy to create change, to work magic, not just understand it. And so Brigid's 3 arrows conveys her various triple aspects, such as healing, smithwork, and poetry, or sometimes poetry, prophecy, and inspiration. Gifts and abilities drawn straight from the other world. The three combined are sometimes thought to be what is represented by the Awen symbol. 3 downward rays used by many Druids today. Now, the goddess Brigantia, so like a British form of Brigid, who is almost identical to Brigid, is also said to have 3 arrows of Rowan. For both goddesses, the arrows form 3 streams of knowledge sent out into the world from the otherworldly source. In these streams, the Rowan represents and embodies source. So those 3 streams, those 3 rays embody that magic of Awen. So I think that's so cool. So Rowan is also connected to wild men and lords of the hunt like Cernunnos, Hern the Hunter, and the Dagda. And that's the Dagda here. All are connected with the animal world, hence Rowan's titles as friend and strength of cattle. Ancient Druids used to burn rowan wood in order to receive shamanic messages of warning and danger, especially before battle. Its red berries are considered the blood of the gods. It has been called Lesula, which means delight of the eye, as Sula is modern Gaelic for eye and also vision. Lee, taken here as delight, can also mean color. So Lee Sula may also mean color of vision, hinting at its visionary properties. And it's said to invoke psychic vision, seership, or scrying for knowledge. Another aspect of Rowan's magical reputation is the tiny pentagram or 5-pointed star, which can be found on the berry. The pentagram, originally referring to the 5-stage passage of Venus around the sun, or the 5 elements, earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, has been a protective symbol for millennia, reinforcing the Rowan's position as a protective symbol. Luis is the Ogham of magical and spiritual teachers, both in person and those found in books and correspondence. In both Irish and Scandinavian myth, the first woman was born from a Rowan tree, and it is considered to have strong female energies. Its protective attributes have been used for centuries, and a slip of Rowan clearly intended for ritual use was even found in Bronze Age burial mounds in Denmark. The Rowan is also said to have saved the god Thor when he fell into a river by bending low and catching him. Rowan was the chosen wood upon which Norse runes were carved upon. Due to its magical abilities, the spirit of the wood was able to speak the spells or messages written on them. It is also excellent for carving Ogham. Rowan trees growing in inaccessible places, such as the cleft in a rock face or within another tree, are thought to be especially magically powerful and are said to be flying trees. The Finnish also place great importance upon the Rowan, where it has a link with the god of thunder. The goddess Rauni gave birth to all the plants of the world while in the form of a Rowan tree, after making love with the god of thunder, Ukko. Isn't that awesome? I love that. In the Scottish Highlands, the Rowan was once known as the enchantress of the woods, and it was considered favorable to have one growing near the house, as its spirit would lend those near it protection. Often pins of rowan were used to magically seal the front door to prevent bad luck, ill will, or wicked spirits entering the house. The combination of rowan wood tied with red thread in whatever form goes back a very long time, with the thread sealing the magic, the act of tying enforcing the person's will upon the charm. It was also taboo to cut rowan wood unless it was for magical purposes. Kings were sometimes crowned beneath their boughs. So, very, very sacred wood. Another name for the rowan is the quicken tree, and an old tale from Herefordshire tells of how there were 2 barrels of gold hidden in a secret vault at Penyard Castle, protected by a magical guardian in the form of a jackdaw. The vault was also hidden behind huge iron doors. And one day, a farmer, with the help of 20 steers, found the vault and proceeded to try and pry the iron doors open. Within, he could just catch a glimpse of the golden treasure when the doors slammed shut and a voice cried out, "Had it not been for your quicken tree goad and your yew tree pin, you and your cattle had all been drawn in." Instead of retrieving the treasure, the farmer and his cattle would likely have been the victims of evil magic and never escape but for the magic of the rowan and the yew, which he unintentionally carried with him. Rowan trees are very beneficial when setting healthy boundaries, especially with fairies. Rowan crosses over doors and children's cribs were used as powerful protection against unfriendly fairies, and was also used in milk churns, as stealing milk was a popular fairy pastime. Rowan is traditionally sewn into clothing and into hats to prevent the wearer being fairy-led, that is, being led astray and getting lost or tricked by will-o'-the-wisps. Walking sticks made of rowan are mentioned in several folk tales in allowing both access to and safe passage from the fairy realm itself. In this way, it helps establish good psychic boundaries, negotiating beneficial and respectful relationship between the mortal realm and the other world. Another folk name for the rowan is the Wiccan or witch's tree. While it has the reputation for protecting against witches, rowan has in fact been used by magical practitioners for all sorts of millennia. The witches it protects against are negative influences, whether from mortal or magical sources, rather than witches as we know them today. Now, on to practical and magical uses. Protective as well as instructive, it grants access to divine and otherworldly knowledge, quickening the life force of those who come in contact with it to make shamanic or visionary work possible. Today, it is the witch's friend and a popular magical wood. I want to show you guys my Rowan wand. I got this and it was bare. And so I oiled it up really good, and it took a while because I was nervous. I didn't want to break it. I didn't want to split the wood or anything. So I took pencil and I carved the Ogham sigils in there. And then I took a wood burning tool and I carved all up. There's Rowan. That was the first one I did. So this is a Rowan wood wand with all of the Ogham staves burned into them. So had to show you guys my Rowan wood. wand. It is a reliable spirit that can lend us assistance and protection as we undertake greater magical and spiritual challenges. Rowan is a strong, flexible wood, sometimes used as a substitute for yew in the making of longbows and tool handles. It was also used once to make spindles and spinning wheels, also giving it a reputation for being a wood of the fates. If you guys remember that story from mythology. Druids once used the bark and berries to dye cloth black for ceremonial robes, a practice that can be reproduced today quite effectively. If you guys want to give that a try, please let me know if it still works. Meditate on the Ogham of Luis for help in understanding oracles and omens and sorting out images and symbols found in dreams or through vision-seeking rituals. Using the Ogham for warding off negative energy or to aid in healing workings. Very effective. I've worked with it very much, and I love to work with it for protection. It's just my favorite sigil to use for protection. Equal armed crosses, as we've seen, I'll put it back up here, of rowan tied with red thread are an ancient protection charm hung over doorposts in the home, in the barn to protect cattle, as well as over babies' cribs to lend their protection from wicked fairies and other spirits. A little bit more. Working shamanically to befriend the rowan spirit can help us achieve a greater level of insight, as well as gain a powerful protector who will help us see challenges before they reach us, right? Think about that foresight, right? And that visionary aid, right? It is a valuable ally for household magic, as it is the best protection for children and the safety of the hearth. But it also assists those who work with the edges of the spirit world as fairy friends, guarding our boundaries and helping us negotiate relations with otherworldly contacts that are respectful to both parties. And in fact, Celtic otherworld traveling would always use the color red to protect them as they traveled. So even if you don't work with the Ogham sigil, wearing something red to remind you of the rowan is something that is a protective act that you could do. Just wearing something red. Think red rowan. All right. All right, linked concepts that you can think about when you are in need of protection or in need of Rowan's sigil is sustenance, food, herbal healing, magical protection, animals and their protection, and magical or spiritual teachers and teachings. So, correspondences, here we go. Elements are fire and earth. Zodiac, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. Deities, Aphrodite, Brigid, Caradwyn, the Dagda, Hecate. Luna, Pan, Selene, and Thor. The colors, red, gray, purple, and deep blues. The totems, the horse, the centaur, Chiron, unicorn, bear, duck, quail, salmon, dragons, elves, and fairies. The calendar is the November 29th to December 26th, the second lunation, and the whole month of December. Now, related species, if you can't get a hold of rowan and you want to work with the actual wood of rowan, is the whole roses, I can never say that, rose White beam, cherry, and apple would be the woods that you would want to work with. Now, on to healing properties. Rowan seeds are poisonous to children, so that's out. Don't work with the seeds if you have children. Rowan is astringent, diuretic, and anti-inflammatory. Its berries are high in vitamin C and used to be taken to prevent scurvy. The juice of the berries is used as a laxative and gargled to relieve sore throats. Rowan berry jam is usually made with apples and is said to help ease diarrhea. Rowan jelly is good with meat and cheese, along with being medicinal. Rowan berry wine is delicious and an old remedy for lifting the spirits. As a vibrational essence, and you remember in the episode 1, I talked about the vibrational essence doesn't actually have any Rowan in it. It is just Rowan charged. It teaches the skill of discernment and gives psychic protection as well as aiding insight. It encourages good judgment and hones instincts. Now, if we were to draw this in divination, I'll do my little demonstration again. If we were to have this in a bag and if we were to draw it upright, Rowan warns of danger, but you are protected. No matter what, you are protected as long as you don't act a fool. As long as you don't go about, I'm protected. I can walk down a dark alley, no problem. Yeah, don't act a fool, But you are protected as long as you remain aware of yourself. It grants courage, sharper vision, and imagination to overcome obstacles. Rowan reminds you to keep your wits about you, look deeper, and see what surrounds you with clearer sight. The need to stand grounded and to use common sense. It signifies the journey into greater spiritual awareness and magical ability. Progress always means new challenges as well as rewards, and the Rowan advises you to seek the knowledge and protection you need to know to move forward successfully and in balance. Now, if you were to draw it reversed, this is a vulnerability to danger or negative influences, and it advises you to strengthen your defenses. Time to do some protection magic. Shield wall needs to be up pronto, right? Okay. So that was Rowan. That was Luis Rowan. I hope you found this video helpful. Please give this video a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss the next tree we'll be going into. Please visit my website at theveiledcottagewitch.com to set up a reading, a service, a class, upcoming workshops. You can also purchase my holistic healing products and spell and magic aids. Just don't forget to enter that code word, all caps veiled, at checkout to get your free shipping. That is my gift from me to you just for watching this video. So don't forget to do that. If you'd like to financially support this channel, you can do so by buying me a coffee. All the details are down below, or you can just scan this QR code right here, but absolutely no pressure. Just live your best life and live for yourself. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.